Hi, this is Spencer with Octopus Life and Legacy, and today we're going to talk about annuity planning. And so I know everyone liked the other one that we did for term life policy, and so we're just going to go ahead and go through this one. And so annuity planning, if you have an annuity, if you're looking for an annuity, this is what we're going to learn. So what is an annuity? An annuity is an insurance contract between you and the insurance company. You're going to give them money, and they're going to promise to pay you out over a period of time. And so that could be a 10-year period, a 15-year period, your whole entire life, you and your spouse's life. That's what it is. That's what a contract is for an annuity. There are different types of annuities. One is a fixed annuity, which is going to be a set percentage of interest that is going to be credited to your account, and that's set. So that one's the most guaranteed, right, when we're looking at insurance. Next one is variable annuity. The variable is that you're taking the risk and you're going to go ahead and invest that in kind of the market. You're going to follow certain indexes that are there, so it can go up and it can go down. And so that you're taking the risk so you can get higher rewards, but also more risk. And so the next one is index annuities. That's kind of like fixed and variable, had a baby, has a floor and a cap. And so you're still invested into the market, but you're credited as the market. But it doesn't go down. There's usually a floor on it, but there's also usually a cap on it. So you can't get the full market return. You have immediate annuities and you have deferred annuities. So immediate annuities are exactly what they sound. It's usually like a single premium immediate annuity, also called a SPIA. A SPIA is what you do is you're going to put one lump sum. So if you have $300,000, you put $300,000 in an annuity, and then you tell the insurance company, you say, hey, how much are you going to pay me per month if I give you $300,000 of money? And they calculate it. They say, hey, based on your age, and your gender, you're going to get paid out this amount per month for the rest of your life, or for this period certain, or how it works. And deferred annuities is that if you don't have the single premium, you go ahead and put in multiple payments. So you're putting in one payment on this year, next payment, this year, and the next year. And so you can't have one lump sum as a deferred annuity. Let's say you have 100,000. I want to put 100,000 now, but I don't want to get immediately paid out. Then I can do a single premium deferred annuity. And so those are the types of annuities that there are, and then kind of what that contract is. So let's say you already have an annuity. So with this annuity, you can do a couple of things. You can annuitize that annuity, so you'll start to receive payments for whatever you wanted to choose. You can choose a single life, which is going to have your highest payments. You can do a joint survivor policy. You can do a 10-year period certain, or a period certain with a life policy. So all of those are going to be paid out, or your options that you can choose when you annuitize. The other thing that you're looking at is that you can do withdrawals from your annuity, right? And so when you can withdraw from your annuity, usually it's about 10% per year that you can withdraw. It is taxed as LIFO. And so when you do that as LIFO, meaning you're going to receive the non-portion, if it's a non-qualified, meaning you've already paid taxes on it, out first. So the portion that you haven't paid taxes, you're going to receive first. So let's say, for an example, you have an $80,000 annuity. It grew to $100,000. You want to take out 10% of that. Well, you're going to take out the non-taxable portion first so that you can pay taxes on it. I did want to say that there is an important note on this is before you annuitize, please get quotes from other companies. And we're about to see this in the next slide, is that why it is important to look at different companies for the amounts. So you already have an annuity at one company doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and annuitize with that company. You can definitely shop out. You can transfer that money. It's called 1035 exchange, going from one annuity to the other annuity. And there is no taxes when you change from one company to the next company. That is not taxable on that portion or that change over. I do want to mention a lot of annuities have surrender charges. So if your annuity has surrender charges, please be careful. Do not change from one company to the next company, because that surrender charge will take an effect and it will deduct from your amount. If you do a surrender also, that will deduct from your amount. And so look at the surrender charges. If you don't know about them, give me a call. Let me look over your policy. I can see if you have surrender charges. But let's go ahead and see the power of comparing companies. So we have option one. Option one is where the annuity is currently at. The current annuity has $162,036.83, and its cost basis, meaning the amount that they contributed, is $137,659.84. The first company, this is a joint and 100% survivor, so it's going to pay out for the life for both participants until both of them are dead, or passed away. Sorry for using cruel language. But when we looked at that, so fixed payment, so this is a monthly payment of $1,041.90. And the second one is annual exclusion amount is $8,339 or $393.89. We'll go ahead and look at the second payment because it breaks it down a little bit differently, easier to understand. So this is from the second company. Same thing, joint and survivor life annuity. We have the premium $162,036.83. We have the cost basis of $137,659.84. And we have the exclusion ratio of 63%. We'll go into that 63% in a little bit after we look at the numbers. But let's say monthly amount of income is going to be $1,123.85 that you're going to get paid out. So there is a difference between the first company and second company and monthly payout. The portion, now we're looking at exclusion ratio. This is going to be the portion that's going to be distributed from your cost basis, and then the other portion that's distributed from the growth inside the portfolio. So one you've already paid taxes on, the next one you have to pay taxes on. So since this one started out on 137,000, grew to 162,000, your exclusion ratio is 63%. So 63% of that money is non-taxable. So when we look at the non-taxable amount in this certain situation, it's $708.03, and then $415.82 that is taxable. This is super important when you're looking at retirement planning and when you're calculating your expenses and seeing if you're going to go into different tax brackets, is how much is taxable portion, because that's what you include on your taxes. And so that's super important to understand, because you're not going to receive the full $415.82. You will pay taxes on that amount when you file your taxes. So in summary, let's look at the difference. The original of company one was $1,041.90. Company two is $1,123.85. So you can look at that. It's almost $82 difference. But $82 over the years, almost $1,000 that we're looking at, that you're getting paid out more than the original amount. And I will take that every day and night for any situation. If you're going to pay me more for my exact same money, you get my money. And so this is why it's important to do that, because when we compound this, right, when we're looking at this is a participant that's age 72. And so when we're looking at lifespan, we can say, okay, well, in 10 years, it's going to pay me $10,000 more. 20 years, almost $20,000 more, and so on. And so when we look at annuities, especially when we're looking at this life one for all of life, when you're looking at it, it says, I like this quote that it says right here, or not the quote, the figure that it gives us says total amount of payments until age 95. So until this participant receives, if they live all the way to age 95, this 162,000 that they have in this policy will actually pay them $310,182.60. And so with that, that's going to be the full cost of what they're going to get. And so based on the calculations, if you live that long, you receive a lot more money. But on the downside, if you die a little bit earlier, the company gets to keep that extra money that's inside the annuity. And so we went over exclusion ratio, we went over surrender charges, we went over the importance of looking at different companies, because you can receive more money for the exact same cost. So before you annuitize your company or your annuity already, make sure that you get quotes. If the person that you're working with has been and they can't give you quotes for other companies, give me a ring, because if you want to pay me $1,000 extra each year, I'll take that. And so give me a ring, and so that we can go ahead and compare the quotes. And let's say the vice versa. Let's say company two was actually higher, and that was your original policy, and company one came in lower. Great. Now you know. Now you know that you couldn't receive more for another annuity. And so now you're in the best situation. So you just annuitize where you're at. You don't have to make that change. And so let's see if you should get an annuity. Honestly, when you look at an annuity, you need to calculate kind of where it's at. Luckily, interest rates have, luckily or unluckily, depending on what side of the fence you're on, is that interest rates have gone up. And so annuities, interest rates or crediting rates have gone up also. And so you get more money you get more interest for the money that you deposited inside the insurance company. The downside is, and so that could be a good situation because those are kind of the guarantee, the insurance company guarantees them for a period of time. And so let's say several years ago when interest rates were really low, your annuities were getting 2-3% of interest. And so that your money was better elsewhere to kind of grow and have better returns than it currently is now, where interest rates are, let's say, 5%. And here we are in of May of 2025. Do they meet your retirement goal? Let's say you want to be able to make sure that you make $5,000 a month, and that's what you need to live off of, $60,000, or let's say $10,000 a month, $120,000. An annuity plus Social Security or other type of retirement income can help lower that gap. So let's say you have that previous example, you had 162,000. That would pay you $1,100 per month. So you have a smaller gap to reach from your other financial sources, and that's going to be guaranteed for the rest of your life. Or you can double that. You can always put in more money if you have that more money to bring up that monthly payout. If you are unsure of what surrender charges are, if you're unsure if it's better to look elsewhere for an annuity where you currently have, that's where we come in. Consult a professional, consult someone who's been in the business, and that can go ahead and look over different companies so that we can go ahead and analyze this and make sure that you're in the current spot or you're in the best place for it. And last is reach out with questions. Look, annuities, investments, retirement planning is not easy. I wish it was super straight through that everyone can follow one plan and be done. Every situation is different. Every state is different. Every city is different. Every person is different. Every family is different. There's a lot of things that you have to take in consideration what you're trying to accomplish. So if you can accomplish your goal with an annuity, great. Let's go ahead and get an annuity and look at that. If something else is putting in investments and see if you can get better return because you need to grow more to make your retirement last longer and you can retire earlier, then great. Let's do that. This is what we're here for. We're here to answer those questions. You can reach me by email, spencer@octopodelife.com. You can go to our website, octopodelife.com. You can call me, 214-299-8200. Follow me on Instagram or on YouTube at Octopod Life. And this is what we do, is make sure that you feel confident in your financial situation so that we can address those concerns and so that we can better prepare you for retirement and so that everything looks good. So look forward to talking to you. Be safe. Have a prosperous future and a prosperous life. Look forward to talking to you.